Some cities don't need whites-only signs to let you know you're not welcome. They've got policies, police stops, zoning laws, and that look you get at the grocery store. And if you're black in America, you already know what I'm talking about. Welcome to 10 US cities that are basically anti-black zones. Avoid these if you value your peace. Because yes, in 2025, entire cities still operate like they missed the civil rights memo. These aren't random towns with one bad incident. These are places where systemic discrimination has been franchised, normalized, and dressed up in gentrified charm. Number 10. Boston, Massachusetts. Progressive, but don't get too comfortable. Boston loves to call itself the cradle of liberty. But if you're black, it often feels more like the cradle of microaggressions, police stops, and generational wealth gaps so wide they might as well be the Grand Canyon. This city is where black excellence goes to get questioned, undermined, and politely ignored. Now don't get me wrong, Boston's got world-class hospitals, top-tier universities, and enough Ivy League credentials to fill a library. But all that prestige comes wrapped in a tight little bow of "you don't belong here." From downtown office buildings to Beacon Hill brownstones, the vibe is clear. Black folks can visit, maybe work here, but don't expect to feel at home. Let's hit you with some facts. The median net worth for white families in Boston, over $247,000. For black families, $8. That's not a typo. That's a two-digit number. You could carry that in loose change. Generational wealth in this city skipped over black communities like we were invisible. And the housing discrimination? Oh, it's alive and kicking. Rent in the black neighborhoods that used to be affordable has shot up thanks to gentrification that's wiping out community faster than a college intern with a highlighter. Roxbury and Dorchester, once cultural hubs, are now playgrounds for tech bros who think reggae is just lo-fi with drums. And let's talk about policing. Remember the Charles Stewart case? A white man killed his wife and blamed it on a fictitious black suspect. And the Boston PD went on a rampage, harassing black men all over the city. That was the 80s, but ask any local, we're still paying for it in 2025. Even black college students, those bringing in the diversity schools love to advertise, get stopped and questioned on their own campuses. You've got to wonder, how many Ivy League degrees does it take before you're seen as a human being here? Boston is the kind of city that puts Black Lives Matter signs in its windows while clutching its purse when you walk by. It's woke on paper, but asleep at the wheel when it comes to real equity. So yeah, move to Boston if you like lobster rolls, Red Sox games, and getting mistaken for the janitor in your own office building. Otherwise, you might want to take that U-Haul and keep driving. Number 9. St. Louis, Missouri, where segregation never left, it just changed zip codes. If American cities were playing hide-and-seek with racism, St. Louis wouldn't even bother hiding. It's been out in the open since day one, and in 2025, it's still putting on a masterclass in how to keep black folks boxed in, stressed out, and constantly under watch. Let's get something straight. This isn't about hating the people. There are strong, beautiful black communities in St. Louis who've built resilience out of struggle. But the system, it was built to break you. We're talking about a city where the median income for black households is nearly half that of white households, where public schools in majority black areas get fewer resources than a suburban rec center, where being black and breathing can get you stopped by police for matching a description, even if the description is just blackmail. This is the same city that became ground zero for the modern racial justice movement when police killed Michael Brown just a few miles away in Ferguson. And yet here we are, a decade later, and black drivers in Missouri are still 91% more likely to be stopped by police than white drivers. That's not reform, that's rinse and repeat. And don't get me started on the Delmar Divide. That infamous street cuts the city in two, literally. North of Delmar, predominantly black, underfunded schools, abandoned buildings, and food deserts. South of Delmar, predominantly white. Trendy cafes, new construction, and Whole Foods on every corner. It's like crossing into a different country with one turn of the wheel. Economic development? Oh, that's happening, but not for us. You see the cranes and condos, but the jobs don't come with it. Black neighborhoods get revitalized, which usually means you're about to be priced out. Rent spikes, businesses close, and the culture gets replaced by a brewery and a yoga studio that plays trap music on Sundays for diversity. So yeah, if you hate yourself, go ahead and move to St. Louis. Enjoy the beautiful brick homes and barbecue while watching your neighborhood slowly vanish under urban renewal. But if you want to keep your peace, your dignity, and your sanity, St. Louis is a hard no. Because when a city's motto might as well be, survive if you can, you've got to ask, why live somewhere that treats your existence like a problem? Number 8, Portland, Oregon. So progressive it loops back to passive-aggressive racism. On the surface, Portland looks like a utopia for crunchy liberals. Bike lanes, compost bins, coffee shops on every corner. But scratch just one layer below that artisanal latte foam, and you'll find a city where black folks are treated more like endangered species than citizens. You're rare, yes? Respected? Not so much. Portland loves to parade its progressive values like a badge of honor. It's got rainbow flags, anti-fascist graffiti, and more diversity slogans than actual diversity. The truth? Black people make up less than 6% of the population, and that number is shrinking every year. Why? Because Portland is a masterclass in performative inclusivity. You'll hear folks say Black Lives Matter while gentrifying historically black neighborhoods like Albina into oblivion. Once thriving, black-owned businesses have been replaced with dog yoga studios and oat milk dispensaries. The community was pushed out by rising rents, over-policing, and the slow drip of cultural erasure masked as urban renewal. Let's talk history. Oregon was literally founded as a white utopia. The state constitution originally banned black people from even living here. They've updated the laws, but the legacy lingers like an unpaid debt. Black residents still report higher rates of housing discrimination, employment bias, and harassment by police, especially in a city that once had one of the highest Ku Klux Klan memberships west of the Rockies. And that friendly liberal energy? It often turns into "I voted for Obama, so I can't be racist" gaslighting. You might be the only black person in your workplace, your apartment building, and your Whole Foods. And you'll still be asked, where are you really from? Cops here don't shoot first like in the South, but that doesn't mean you're safe. Surveillance, profiling, and being treated like a walking anomaly are part of the daily vibe. There's a reason why Portland's black population, especially young professionals, keeps leaving. So, sure, move to Portland if your idea of diversity is being the only black face in your office photo and getting invited to Juneteenth brunch hosted by white vegans. But don't say we didn't warn you when that inclusion starts to feel more like isolation. In a city where they'll protest for you but won't sit next to you at the bar, ask yourself, is this allyship or just white guilt with better branding? 7. Huntington Beach, California. Sun, surf, and systemic racism. Ah, California, the land of sunshine, beaches, and that fake liberal smile that turns into a scowl when you walk past their patio brunch. Now zoom in on Huntington Beach. Beautiful coastline? Absolutely. Laid-back surfers and sunsets? You bet. But if you're black, all that beauty comes with a subtle stench of racial hostility that even the ocean breeze can't wash away. Huntington Beach isn't just another beach town. It's a stronghold of far-right rallies, Confederate flags tucked into truck beds, and the kind of neighbors who think diversity means hiring a Filipino nanny. This is the same place where actual white supremacists held rallies in broad daylight, and folks came out in support, not just to protest, but to proudly wave their flags like it was 1955.